Hey y'all, come look at this.
What's up, Goblin Nation? It's Gibrian, aka Gib the Mob Goblin. And I have a question. Have you decided on your crew for Rell? I don't mean your crew members, because for most of you, it'll just end up being your friends. More specifically, I mean how your crew is going to be. In One Piece, most crews have a theme they follow where all the crewmates and the captain all match the same idea. For example, the Big Mom Pirates all had names and abilities that were kind of named after like candy or sweets. Now, I'm gonna be honest. The hardest part of having a crew with a theme is convincing your friends to all pick the same one and kind of go along with it. So I thought I'd make a vid with a bunch of themes you might like, and maybe you'll find one that looks interesting, you know, to make things easier. If you've already decided on one, then you'll still enjoy the video because we know for sure you're going to end up running into some of these crews using these themes when the game finally ends up releasing. And this will end up being a nice little callback when you run into the Straw Hat Pirates and you can be like, yeah, Gibb said they'd be here. Now, before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And join the Discord in the description as well if you want to talk Rell. And buckle in because delicious times are ahead of you. Now let's start off with one of the obvious choices for a crew theme would be samurai, or I guess you could say swordsman, since they don't strictly have to use katanas due to the variety we're going to see in the game. It's pretty obvious why this one's going to be so popular. The anime itself has a lot of really good swordsmen, and honestly it's pretty hype finding a new sword. So I think this is going to be one of the most common ones we see. Unfortunately, it's not really as exciting as a lot of other themes, mainly just because it's just like your choice of weapons. So I think this one will be a little harder for you to convince your friend to do. Now, you guys could lean really heavily into a samurai theme, but like with the bulky armor, I just don't see that being super popular. But you know, let me know if you pick this one. Now, this next one is pretty similar, but I think it'll be more popular just because it's like, you know, it's like an edgier version of a swordsman. And this will be the assassin theme. So this would be more like, you know, like dark clothing, daggers. So you're not stuck strictly to one type of weapon. You could even use a gun, hypothetically, if you're an assassin. Although maybe something like a bow or maybe like a slingshot, I don't know, something silent would make more sense. But I think you can kind of picture this one being more like, picture like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you know, because you're an assassin, but you're still a pirate. So you're going to have to kind of merge both of those a little bit. Now, this next one sounds a little vague, but, you know, hear me out. So the theme would basically be like an air crew. Now, obviously, we can't fly with our boats, as far as we know, at least. But you could all have flying themed like fruit, so that way you guys can easily take off your boat onto land. It'd be kind of cool. Like, imagine like planes taking off like one of those big warships, but instead it's just all your friends with like Zoan fruit or fruit that have like a flight ability, and then you guys could easily all land on an island at once. I think that'd be pretty cool. Plus you could park your boat offshore without needing to like dock, and that'd be kind of neat. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think of this one, or what you would even call it, I guess. Now, Rell might be the only game that a crew like this would even be possible, because most of these One Piece games end up neglecting guns or making them really bad. So this next idea is for like a Western themed gunslinger gang. I think it'd be really cool to have a whole crew full of like gunslingers, like everyone uses pistols or rifles, and then like you have like the Western outfits. I'm sure you could make some of these pirate outfits look Western depending on like the hat. I think it'd be really cool. Red Dead Redemption is one of my favorite games, and I think it'd be really cool to like recreate that. I kind of want to make a character that just uses guns, and I think if I do, he'll probably be like a gunslinger of some kind. Now that I think about it, a horse mount would go absolutely crazy on a cowboy character. Now, this next one is personally my favorite so far. It's probably the one I'm going to end up going with, and it is the mobster theme. So the good example of this would be in the anime, they have, you know, Beige or Capone or whatever the hell his name is. Now, the main reason I would pick this one would just be like the raw aura. I mean, can you match the drip here? Now, obviously, we haven't seen that many examples of the clothing in One Piece to know if they would get any mobster ones, but it's something they could easily add, and I'm sure you can repurpose some of the other suits to work. Now, mobsters, or I guess mafia, is kind of like gun themed, but I think you could make an argument for using melee weapons too, especially if you kind of lean into like the gangster, like Yakuza kind of thing. So either way, I don't think it's a big deal. And that's about it for the video. Just kidding, there's more. Don't even get me started on crews themed around just like a specific fruit, like a crew of just fire users. Like, I know it'd be hard, but imagine if you got your hands on like 6 different fire fruits and then just like hand them out to your crew members. Who knows, maybe like the leader of the crew like has magma, you know, just to show that he's like stronger than the others. I don't know, and they could all use like Sanji's fighting style just to stick to the fire theme. Now, you could probably do this with any of the devil fruit, but I think it works best with all like the elemental themed ones, like smoke. I think if you got a whole gang of like smoke users and then like called yourself the vape crew or something dumb like that, that could be pretty funny. Now, a lot of these themes won't really be possible on release just because we don't have that big of a variety of fruit. I think there's going to be 30 on release. For example, if you wanted to go with a dinosaur crew, your only real option is like the Rex. Or I guess it would be the Allosaurus, but obviously if they do end up releasing more, which I hope they do, that'll add a lot of choices and new possibilities. And this is another reason why devil fruit skins will be so good, because for all we know, maybe they'll make Spinosaurus just a skin for the Rex, and that way everyone on your crew won't have to look the same, and I think it'll add a lot of variety. I think this is true for any crew that'll end up maining Zoans, like if you get a full flyer group like I mentioned earlier. It'll be nice to have different species of bird, different kinds, and a lot of that stuff could just be easy reskins, like, you know, for the devil fruit itself as opposed to making a new moveset. So, I mean, hopefully that just inspires more creativity, and, you know, they can charge us money as long as it's not too bad, or earnable, you know, either way. So I mentioned people playing as like the Straw Hat crew in the beginning a couple times, and I think that's just like a whole category. I'm not just gonna name off every crew and say you could be like the red hair pirates. I think as a whole, a lot of people are going to be role playing. If you've been in any Discord for Rell Seas, you've definitely seen someone whose name is just Luffy, and then they have like a crewmate that's named Sanji. We had one of those in our crew Discord like way back. So you can't really avoid these people. Obviously, I'm not like trying to insult them or anything. But you're just gonna end up seeing a lot of them, and there'll be like 10 crews in your server named like the Straw Hats or, you know, the Whitebeard Pirates. So that's like a whole category to look out for. If I had to name the category, I'd probably just call them role players. That's probably the most accurate way to describe them. Now, this next category is probably the easiest to convince your friends to do. This would be being like completely race based. So you could all be fishmen, you would all be minks, you would all be Skypeans. Now, I don't think this one would be as fun as some of the others, but the reason this one's so easy is because you can basically fit any playstyle into any race. You could be a swordsman as a fishman, you could be a gunslinger as a fishman. It's pretty versatile because it's really just one part of your character, but it still gives your crew like that unique look when you all pull up and you're all like matching fishmen, if that makes any sense. A lot of these themes have their up and downs, so it's more about finding one that matches your friend group, or I guess your crew style. So obviously there's a lot of give and take there. I think uniqueness plays a huge factor. Like if you're gonna see like 100 like fisherman crews probably, but I think when you see that one special crew, like maybe they're all dressed up as like Western characters, I think that's really gonna like stick in your memory, and I think that earns a lot of points for uniqueness, you know, when they pick like a more rare theme, I guess you could say. And to round out the video, our last, you know, like a category, I guess, is going to be job themed crews. This is going to be where we're going to see our chef crews, you know, everyone's a cook. Our fisherman crews, like if you know you run a fishing guild and you all like fish. This one was pretty annoying to find an image for, because if you type in One Piece fisherman, you just get a bunch of fishmen. Who would have thought? Our merchant crews, where everyone's a trader. Although I don't really think we'll see any like lumberjack crews or like mining crews. Those seem a little not very fun to play, I guess you could say. Personally, I think it'd be really cool to see like a cyborg crew. Hopefully cyborg is actually done really well. We've already seen some of like the moves that they can do. So if cyborgs are cool, I'm sure we'll see a lot of cyborg crews, since, you know, everyone kind of wants to try out the new stuff. I'll give another honorable mention to like any musician crews. We don't really know how instruments are going to work, or if we're even going to get any. So hopefully we can get a band going, kind of like Sea of Thieves. That'd be really fun. And I think it'd be kind of cool to be like a musician group just traveling around and not even fighting, but like running into other players and just playing songs, you know? I feel like that could be fun for roleplay. And before I close out the video, the last thing I want to say is I better not see any femboy pirates, furry pirates, gooner pirates, skibbity pirates, anything like that. If I see that and that's your crew name or your theme or whatever, we're jumping you 100% of the time, okay? And that's all I got for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, comment below any themes that, you know, I might have missed, because obviously I'm just trying to come up with these off the top of my head. And there's probably a lot of like cool ideas that I just didn't think of. Like, who knows? Maybe you'll come up with something and it'll impress me so much it'll go in my next video. But yeah, I thought this video was going to be longer, but most of the time a lot of the you know, the themes end up kind of overlapping. Like all the Logias would just end up being the same theme of fruit, you know? So I didn't really want to talk your ear off and just repeat the same thing over and over and be like, yeah, you could do Zoans for dogs, you could do Zoans for cats, that sort of thing. So I ended up making it a little shorter than I expected, but I still ended up hitting a pretty good runtime. So I hope you guys do enjoy it, and I'll be back with another video sometime. Thanks for watching.
Anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.